I think the hardest part of a video is coming up with an intro. But today we're in Washington, D.C. My home. Including a dog and a fence. What's up guys, it's Devin back here with another video, and today we're gonna explore my city, Washington, D.C. I'm gonna show you guys one little area of my city that I love to go to, and it's a tourist attraction, the Wharf. Newly renovated, there we go, there's the word, whoa. But newly renovated, nice area, right on the water, and the reason we're going there, we're getting crabs. All right guys, so today, like I said, we're going to go to the Wharf, but this time we're shooting film. No more digital. I've had a couple of people request a tutorial for beginners, so I figured why not teach you one the best way possible with film. Now, in this video, you won't be able to see the photos that I take today, but you will be able to see them on my Instagram, which I will have down in the description box below. So be sure to follow my Instagram to see these fire photos that I take, hopefully, you know, of course. But like I said, we're gonna go to the Wharf. We're gonna get some crabs there. We're also gonna, you know, take some photos, hopefully get some nice shots. Like I said, it's by some water. It's nice scenery. They recently renovated it, and it's beautiful, guys. You guys will see it in the video later on, but you know, let's get straight into the video. If this is your first time here, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment down below. All that good stuff. Just help me out, support, and let me grow as my channel continues to get better and better. And if you have any suggestions as far as my next video, definitely drop it in the comments below, and I will be sure to make a video about it. But guys, let's go ahead and get to the video, and let's get talking photography. Alright guys, so now we're actually going to go ahead and get to the lesson. I know this is technically part 2 of the same video. This time we're actually going to learn a little bit more about the photography and how I shoot. First, you know, with any good photographer, you have to learn the basic fundamentals. And the fundamentals are 3 things that I remember and that I use frequently on a day-to-day basis when I shoot photography, especially with my film camera. With digital cameras, these things are also important, but with film, you definitely want to pay attention to everything that I'm saying. Number one thing that we're going to focus on today, like I said, are those 3 things: shutter speed, aperture, and ISO. And I'll go into a little bit of detail about what each of them actually do and how they affect one another. I'm not going to go into great depth about it. I'll save that for another video, for a full video of me actually sitting down. But today, like I said, I'll give you guys kind of a basic overview of whatever. All right, guys. So the first thing we're going to talk about is actually shutter speed. Shutter speed basically tells your camera how long the shutter is going to be open for, right? And what I mean shutter, that means that actually what's letting the source hit the emulsion, whether that's on film or the sensor that's on digital cameras. So that light, also with the lens, is the aperture. We'll talk about that in a second, but those 2 things are going to be hand in hand together. Shutter speed, basically, if you see a blurry picture before, that's what that shutter speed is. That's a longer shutter speed. So it goes by seconds. The longer the second is, so 1 second, 2 seconds, 4 seconds, 8 seconds, it's going to be longer the shutter is open. And when you get to the higher shutter speed, lower shutter speed, it's basically going to allow for movement to happen and that blurriness effect to show. The quicker your shutter speed is, the sharper and faster your image is going to take. So more for sports, you know, action shots, maybe even dance recitals and stuff like that. Next, we're going to talk about aperture. Aperture is how much light your lens lets in, right? And that's also where that blurry effect comes in. I know you guys may have seen pictures where the background is totally blurred out, but the subject is in focus, crystal clear. That's bokeh. That's a bokeh effect from the aperture. Your aperture basically creates a depth of field, right? So the way I think about it, the higher the number, so 5.6, 7.1, f8, f11. The higher the number, the more things that are going to be in focus right now. Right, like right now I have my lens, I believe, set on 5.6. I'm in focus, but after a while, as soon as you get further back, the distance starts getting blurry, right? And then so the lower the number, you know, the lower the f-stop, so f2.8, f1.4, f1.8, the lower that is, that blurry effect, that bokeh, it's really gonna pop out for you guys. And that's it, that's how you get that dreamy look. But you don't wanna overdo it sometimes, especially with portraits. You'll have sometimes the nose in focus and everything else past the nose just falls off. And that's not what you want. For me personally, when I do portraits, I typically shoot 2.8 to f4, especially if I'm using a strobe. It helps a lot, and you know, having a quicker shutter speed or even a slower shutter speed, depending on your circumstances, can definitely help out and show you a great photo. All right, so for ISO, guys, I did write a little bit of notes. I kind of did a little cheat code here because ISO is definitely the thing that I struggle with the most. Not as far as terms of using it, but for as terms of describing it. So my notes I have here is it's basically how sensitive the sensor is to light. So the lower that number, so 100, 200, the less sensitive to light that sensor is going to be. Now that's in terms of digital cameras. For film, it makes a total difference, right? So when you shot for film, you have ISO film. You don't have shutter speed film. You don't have things like that. You don't have aperture film. It's ISO. Basically, how light is going to hit that film with that emotion, and how it's going to be portrayed out into the subject. It basically helps with your exposure, right? If you have a lower 100 ISO film and it's nighttime, you're not going to be able to get nothing unless you have a flash powerful enough to even control with that. One thing that I realized is that ISO also makes your photos a lot grainier. The higher that number is, it's just going to look grainy. And of course you can post-edit that and sharpen it up, but I hate ISOs, high ISOs, unless you have a tripod that can come in handy. You know, when you're doing night photography, you don't have to boost the ISO up. You can just boost your shutter, you can slow your shutter speed and you'll be fine. All right, guys, so now that we learned about shutter speed, aperture, and ISO just a little bit, we can actually try to combine them and figure out how they work in tangent of each other, right? So check it. Shutter speed and ISO, and oh God. Aperture and shutter speed are definitely gonna be closely related. You know, you wanna, if you wanna use your aperture more and you wanna be able to control your shutter speed around it, that's all you gotta do. Right, when you're using film and when you're using a digital camera, you have exposure meters, so no matter what, you should be good. When you control your aperture, say I'm shooting at 2.8, it's a bright sunny day like this, I'm shooting at ISO 100, because the light is too bright. I don't need a higher ISO because I'm not compensating for anything. So I can shoot at 100 ISO. Aperture is at 2.8. My shutter speed may be above 1/250th of a second. Maybe right now, if I'm shooting in broad daylight like this, maybe 1/256th of a second, maybe 1/500th of a second. You know, things like that. It's very simple when you start doing it. When you focus a little bit more, and once you get those three fundamentals down, photography comes easy. You have the light meter inside the camera no matter what, unless you have a film camera that doesn't. Then you can get a digital light meter, helps even better. But all these things, they make photography. So when people say, oh, how do you become this photographer? It's by learning those three things and how they function and how they work in tangent of each other. Photography isn't something that's like hard for everybody to pick up. It's honestly for everyone. You know, me as a photographer, I want more photographers to be around and to grow and to learn and to use their experiences, because everybody has a different point of view that they see. And if we can combine all those different viewpoints, we can make something amazing. But guys, this is the end of the video. Again, I'm glad we were able to talk a little bit about the fundamentals of photography. If you want more about a true tutorial of me step-by-step overhand with the camera in my hand, I can definitely show you guys that, or I can even show you a video of me doing a photo shoot. Either or, you guys let me know what you want to see in the comments down below. And definitely, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like. And also, you know, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that bell notification just so you can be notified whenever I drop a new video. This is a passion, and I want to see where this passion can go, and I want to see what this passion can do. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope to catch you on the next one. Guys, stay safe, especially during quarantine. Stay healthy, stay whole, stay happy. And above all else, stay cozy.